Here on the story so far. Final Fantasy 13 too. Hey, Dark Star Ravenon, how you doing?
I can barely breathe.
I think that was a slightly more helpful recap. It didn't mention that, like, there's a dragon that has a time portal in its mouth that's warping the puddings it eats into the past to cause the apocalypse. I'm still enjoying this game significantly more than Final Fantasy 13 1. Like, it's baffling and it's a mess, and it becomes more clearly that after the first 4 hours or so. But at least it's like comprehensible, and at least I can like speculate as to what's going on, why the game is the way that it is. You know, my speculations about why the game is the way it is are not necessarily right. In fact, I'm probably wrong most of the time. But the thing that drove me crazy about the first game is that I felt like I couldn't even like guess why that game had some of the decisions that it had. It was just so bizarre.
Okay, this one might be a bit much for us to handle.
If we could just get it to step out of the way, maybe we can try asking the hunters.
Okay, they don't actually want me to fight it. Gotcha. This, for example, this whole sequence right here, where it's like it's not enough that we need to have the dragon in this timeline affect the Flan monster in the other timeline, and they don't really want to think too much about how that could work and make sense. It's also like, well, we got to give the player something else to do. I don't know, put one of those big turtle monsters from the first game in front of it. So it feels special to be able to speculate, when before I don't think I had the ability to do that at all. Oh, Chocobo's just like way easier to catch or something? But I like being able to play a game and, like, you know, imagine, like, what were they going for with this? Like, why is it like this? And I think 13.1 was one of the only games I played on stream where I felt like that was a completely fruitless process.
Too easy.
We had some discussion in Discord about this where it's like, you know, the fact that the characters seem to just know things that they have no business knowing because the writer's talking in their ear to let them know so they can inform the audience. Leon was like, you know, isn't it good to have genre-savvy characters? I'm like, this is not genre savviness. Genre savviness would be Sarah picking up on the fact that Noel is interested in her, right? Or them estimating that they're going to have to kill God or some shit like that. Like, this is, the writers just know something is true and they don't really care about how we get to that information, right? So Sarah and Noel just know. Culminating, I think, in the funniest one, the dragon with a time portal in its mouth that's sending Flans back in time. Guessing it's just there's a certain weather setting that lets me get past that thing. They said to go talk to the hunters. Nobody here is talking. Try it.
On the days when you feel like nothing's going your way, take a breath of fresh air and feel the sun shine on your face. Of course, this device can help you with that.
It's literally just that there's 4 settings, right?
Come, I'll teach you how to operate the machine. Use the lever to shift the direction of the wind. That's the first step in changing the weather. The weather will change depending on which levers you use. There are 4 possible combinations and 4 possible weather conditions. There is a correlation between monsters and the weather.
I don't know why that merits 2 levers.
For example, if you make it rain, the monsters near watering holes will become more vicious. And rare monsters with extraordinary strength may appear. By controlling the weather, you can control what kind of monsters you'll run into. That's about it.
Okay.
If you forget how to work it, come talk to me again.
Thanks.
What a fucking weird mechanic. What a weird mechanic. Do you think they just originally planned for the Calmlands area to, like, support a changing weather system and then couldn't do it in the first game. They're like, shit, we have to find some way to make this weather thing work. I think this sequence here in this area is the funniest thing in the game up to this point. Some other funny stuff has happened. E10 Style commented on YouTube that like the characters just knowing what's going on is one of the funniest parts. And that like I'm gonna zoom in and don't see a dragon. I guess I'll go over there and see what happens since it's zoomed in. Like there's a bit of dialogue we missed where if we had done things in a slightly different order, we would have mentioned that Snow was missing, and Hope would have just perfectly speculated that he must have gotten lost in a time stream based on zero information. It's easier to control without an interface. That might be it. It's quite silly. I do maintain that it's a problem that it's so easy to overwhelm this game's combat system with just level ups and stat increases and stuff that, like, the part that makes it interesting to me is when it's balanced such that you can just barely win if you make the right choices. I think that might effectively just be a cursed problem, though. There was a weather changing mechanism in the original during specific seat missions. Interesting. Kind of a way for them to use that again, I guess. I wonder if someone like Game Maker's Toolkit or somebody has coined what's happening here, like a term to describe it. It's I've seen it in a lot of video games. It happens a lot in Final Fantasy X too. I guess simply put, it's busy work, right? Like the devs don't really have an idea of what they want you to do here for story reasons, so they've just kind of come up with something. Hey, thank you, Chaos. How have you been? Appreciate that. Whoops.
The big monster with the shell on its back is called the Longweed. For some reason, it's afraid of lightning. A single flash in the sky and it's off and running in the opposite direction.
Okay, cool.
Hey, are you hungry? Are you hungry?
This is the weather that scares the Longui. And I think it was just zooming in because it's supposed to zoom in there. Scares the Longui. Clear skies. Okay, so the dragon's there and the Longui's there, so I just have to like scare it away, but then the dragon will stick around depending on the order in which I change them. It's exponentially better than the first game, but it's also a baffling shit show. No, I mean, okay, I guess that was the solution. It's at least a comprehensible baffling shit show, though. Like, I can at least kind of do the forensics a bit of like trying to guess why it's like this, whereas the first game was just nonsense.
Good boy. This one's mine.
It's like the difference between watching. I'm trying to think of what's a movie that's as baffling as Final Fantasy 13-1. I can't really think of one. This is more like watching Space Jam 2, right? Where it's a fucking mess, but as you're watching the decisions happen, you know exactly why they did certain things, right? Why we keep like not having LeBron on screen for longer than a second because they don't trust it. They don't want to do a bunch of takes, so they just have him ADR all his lines.
Meal time's over.
This is the dragon with a time portal in his mouth.
This should do it.
Guess he's just charging that for several rounds here, and now he goes. Okay, and there's the. Two buffs I care about. Actually, don't know. I know what this is. A mash. Well, that's so much more forgiving than some of the other ones. It's goofy. Guy annoyingly likes to like knock you back implicitly a lot. Let him. Can I do a retry from this menu? Okay, good. I don't know if I actually need to bother blocking Megaton charge there at the beginning. Yeah, Sonic 06 is comprehensively bad in most cases. This Sporanthes is just getting like interrupted constantly. I can't tell why it's not actually healing.
Thanks, buddy.
Like this is a fight that I'm gonna win just through overwhelming force, sadly. Yeah. I didn't actually have to learn the mechanics at all. I think that's the most bummed I am by this game because it felt like the combat felt pretty balanced and interesting in the first few hours,
Now
but
let's head back before Snow gets
I've
himself
already
in more
over
trouble.
leveled it.
Why, are you worried about him?
What? No. Just figured you'd be itching to see him again.
If there's one thing I know about Snow, it's that he's as tough as a behemoth. I don't worry too much when he's off on his own.
You know, I couldn't do what you two do. Staying apart and doing your own thing even though you love each other. You never know when someone might disappear from your life. Take it from me.
We learned that
to
this
make every moment
voice actor who
count.
plays Noel is like a random Ferengi extra on Deep Space Nine last
It's
week.
okay. I believe we can change our fate. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I feel like in a typical JRPG, like overleveling the content doesn't really warp the way core combat feels most of the time. That it's still kind of, you might get done a few rounds earlier, but don't ever do that again.
Time and memory.
With this game, like the difference between overleveling the content and being on curve for the content is that you're playing a completely different video game, right? Like suddenly half of the actions are degenerated out of the game, and you can probably just win through brute force, double Ravager, commando.
Where's Snow?
I knew it. He's gone off to fight on his own.
All right, we killed the dragon who was eating the Flan and sending them back in time. I'm not gonna let that one go. It's the funniest fucking thing.
Nice timing.
I don't think that one, I don't think it's possible to get a 300% on that, because you have to press down and up simultaneously. But then the A button mashing one has like a full second of like grace period. Any number of ways I could see them doing like a time travel game where you have to do something in the past in order to make a boss in the future more tolerable, but the one they went with is definitely the least obvious choice, I guess.
On to the next.
The problem there was just that they had this like, you know, dragon asset and they had this Flan asset and they didn't really know how to connect them. The butt rock song.
Snow! It's enough.
You really don't know when to quit.
All right, how much do I have to work for this one? Mutant tomato. Howdy pudding exclamation point. I'm gonna try just ignoring Sentinel. See if I get away with it. And there's Imperil, which should speed things up pretty significantly. It's such a fucking goofy song. Probably just stuck being poisoned this whole fight. I'm accruing a lot of wound over time, that's nice. Hooray, mutant extract.
like I needed the cavalry after all. Maybe going solo was a bad idea.
You knew you had no chance of winning. Why did
Yeah,
you
so
even
the drinking
try?
game is drink when the characters know something they shouldn't.
Fang.
See if we can land on another one here.
I knew it was stupid. But the pillar is getting eaten away bit by bit. You can't just stand by and watch. Not when those two are in danger.
Does he remember
Just
us?
sit still and wait for help, could you?
We changed history, right? Well, no, we didn't.
Hey, I do what I do, all right?
Changing history would have been the
You're the
obvious way
worst of
to
them
solve
all.
it.
I hate your kind. You think you're everyone's protector, everyone's hero, but who do you save, really? You even realize how useless you are? Do you realize what you do to the people you're supposed to protect?
Change the future, change the past.
You've been looking after Sarah. And back in your own time, you protected your village and your friends. Am I wrong? Seems to me, you and I are pretty much the same.
No. You don't get it. You don't know anything. You're wrong. We're not the same. I couldn't protect anyone.
No? You know what? Forget it. Maybe you're right. You've got to survive. Because if you don't, then neither will anyone you love. Listen. I'm sorry I charged in on my own.
Snow.
I guess what I'm saying is, you keep looking after Sarah for me, okay?
Like Chrono Trigger, I'm arbitrarily locked to this time run.
What's happening?
Time is up.
Wait, but we resolved the paradox.
Maybe that's the reason. The timeline is correcting itself. Things that don't belong in this era are disappearing. Snow is a contradiction. He comes from a past that no longer exists.
No! Stop it! I won't let you go!
Sorry, Sarah.
There was a convincing reason why Snow is here in the first place. This would be kind of a cool sequence, but
I can't lose you over and
It'll be
over.
okay. Heroes never die.
howdy, sir. How you doing?
But how?
Didn't they spoil the LaCie brand thing in like an area description earlier? Or like a fragment? I was like, what? I don't remember that coming up.
This is what it means to change time.
Why did he have the brand? Who made snow on the sea? Why?
He might not have been forced. Maybe it was something he asked for.
Not in a million years. Who would be insane and stupid enough to do that?
What if you needed to protect someone, and you could only do that with the power of the LaCie?
Everyone knows what happens to LaCie. Succeed or fail, they're doomed.
Snow only cares about the people he's trying to protect. Damn the consequences. Damn himself.
Kind of get what they're going for with Noel and Snow here, but I don't think it's earned.
Sound like something he'd say?
And you hate him for that.
Yes, I hate him. But I understand it.
That's it. I've decided. Snow is always putting himself in danger, trying to save others. So, I'm going to save him.
This scene is, like many similar scenes in Final Fantasy 13-1, incompetently set up, but I think the scene by itself still works a little bit better. Like a lot of the similar scenes to this one in 13-1 are just, they're just nonsense. The character's just saying things that don't mean anything, right? I can at least commit to memory Noel doesn't like snow, right? Even if the reason for that is dumb. I don't think I could do that in almost any scene in the first game. Saj likes his son. Fang likes Vanille. That's about it.
Look forward to the day they can meet again. Sarah, the future is yours. Follow your path. Don't stop now.
That makes me think more of like Resident Evil 6, right? Which had the problem where the individual scenes worked, but there was zero connective tissue between them.
Cocoon should hold now, for a while longer at least. The rest will have to leave to Hope and the other researchers.
Kind of? That was the intent. I didn't absorb it in my playthrough. This game feels in many ways like kind of an overcorrection to 13.1, which at least in the first few hours was like a very welcome change. It's like, oh, thank God, you know, these things that were obvious problems with the first game are better now. But it's like, you don't need to do some of these decisions or make some of these decisions in the name of making the game non-linear, right? It's not actually that much less linear. We were talking about how one of the advantages of Chrono Trigger is that because you're constantly jumping timelines, you can let things happen while you're away that would otherwise be kind of boring to show on screen. It's like a rare enemy or something. That's weird. I think he takes no damage until he's been staggered. Yeah. I just need to sit here on diversity until I finish staggering this thing. But like the 2 times now where we've time traveled away from an area and then returned to it, the time passing has been completely wasted, right? Like the first one was really, really, really weird. The situation with yeah, what do you want me to do about it, Darkstar? I see that it's 999%. How am I supposed to manipulate that? The first one where, like, we went to go talk to a slightly alternate Hope in an almost identical map where the only difference is that it was daytime now instead of nighttime, right? And he'd still talk to us exactly the same as though nothing had actually changed. Access to raise now, that's nice.
Not good.
Do you have like some kind of inherent chain percent resistance that isn't shown on the screen or something? Like, I don't know if this is just like supposed to be a rare enemy that I'm not supposed to fight at this level or something. Is there supposed to be some other mechanic at play here? Feel free to just tell me, because I haven't encountered anything like this in this game up to this point. Is it weak against a certain element or something? It's like Ravager's completely useless. Okay, I tried doing Saboteur earlier, but I couldn't, like, stay alive long enough. Seems pretty resistant to status ailments to me. Triple commando, okay. Maybe Imperil makes it killable. So it seems like this is a situation where I already lost before the fight even started because of my paradigm loadout, right? Because I didn't have Saboteur and Medic on the same board before I even started fighting it and I had already lost. Or because I didn't have a triple commando set up. Seems to resist Imperil. Four stars, really? Oh, 0 stars, okay. Although there was a song for each star rating. Sentinel. Alright, well, I can try to give them more. Spellgo would be nice. She's done when she gets Jinx, right? Okay. I can get a similar distance here with Synergist. But the only thing left to learn is Boon. I never figured out what Boon did, I don't think, right? It's fine, it's duration, right? Now I can find out, I guess. Okay, so whenever you cast a new one, they automatically increase the duration. Cool. Okay. The best Sentinel monsters in the game. Suna's at 26, which is a long ways away. Under's at 20, which is fine, I guess. Fog's at 35, which is a long way away. Alright, let me just change paradigms here. Probably only need one Sentinel set up here. Really? Is that hardy and greedy? Try to change. I'm gonna get rid of these guys. So I'll try to do Saboteur and Synergist stuff with main characters. Try the Chocobo, why not? See what I can do with the Scandrite, I guess. Ear Siphon would be nice. You want ATB. Still so weird that Commando just gets an ability called Ravage. Adrenaline is level 62, so I don't get anything else for a while with this one. Okay. This one feels really hard to justify putting points into if I'm not getting new abilities. Okay, so we want Ravager, Ravager, Commando is one thing. We already have that. We want Commando, Commando, Commando is something. We want Saboteur, Synergist. Medic is one possible thing. Guess this will keep any existing chain bonus up. It's probably better to do Bully than Gorilla. A Ravager by themselves without a Commando can't keep the chain bonus building, right? Saboteur is a partial Commando. Okay. Good to know, thank you. Probably fine. See how it plays out in practice. Literally press every button other than the one that brings up the map here. All right. Even with the Saboteur roll boost, still basically never landing status effects here, it seems like. Alright, this way. Hopefully this next area starts dropping orb items. The only other place I've been able to get them is in the Calm Lands area.
Okay.
Shall we?
Let's.
Will they ever find the dawn?
It depends on what lies in their hearts.
Oh no. Got it.
What the heck is this place?
Chessboard.
Whoops, wrong turn.
I guess if we don't resolve the paradox, this place will stay suspended in limbo.
Doesn't look like there are any other gates either.
Go back to the Historia Crux, Kupo.
Yeah, Mog is right. We should turn back.
Kupo.
Okay. Temptation Plaza. It's like weird gold saucer world or something. Oh, I got a casino ticket. Well, that's good.
Go, Mog.
Wonder if now it wants me to go to the weird place, the end of time area. Really take advantage of this triple question mark thing, right? You get to do that like once, you know what I mean? Or if it's like an enduring mechanic where you don't know what year it is until you visit and then it updates it, but I feel like the ideal Tetsuya Nomura game is every character's name is 4 question marks.
Is this where I think it is?
But then their last name is like something in Latin.
What? You mean Valhalla?
Could lightning be here?
No. Something's different.
Confusing as fuck.
This isn't Valhalla. It looks like it, sure, but it's not the same.
This is the rift between gate and gate. It's the void beyond, Kupo.
So, are you saying we're lost?
Kupo.
Right.
Kupo.
I need a break. Finding my sister isn't gonna be easy.
Kupo.
We had a legend back home about a goddess.
Huh?
We hunters passed the story down from father to son.
Yeah.
It gave us strength when times were tough.
Exactly.
What was it?
Never give up, for the goddess Etro watches always. And
Triquest.
those who help themselves.
The Kai Blade.
It's not much of a legend, really, is it? It sounds more like common sense to me.
Yeah. But when the going gets rough, you don't need anything complicated. Just a reminder to stick things out. Let's just keep telling ourselves that every time we go through a gate, we're getting closer to lightning. Sound good?
Kupo.
Sounds good. This place seems weird enough. How is it different from Valhalla?
The void is simply a shadow of Valhalla. It's a space that connects the gate's entrance and exit.
Oh, good. We can't get past.
Okay. Yeah, it's like they're all, the party is 4 people named quadruple question mark, but it's pronounced, for one of them it's pronounced ambiguo. One of them's like incognito. Unknowable. And one is Bob. That's it. Gonna send us back to the weird place with the this is the guy that was like, this is the end of the world. Can you leave, please? Materia holds items as fragments. Okay. So I need to look for places where there are multiple yellow gates listed, but there's only one connection from that area, I guess. Okay. I thought white gates didn't necessarily mean that I could access them already.
At the summit.
Yellow means I've already got the artifact and I've used the gate before, right? I thought they were trying to tell me that there was a indicator on the map for you have the artifact for this gate, but haven't done it yet. I guess not. Why would you manually cast D-Shell? Oh my god. The more I end up playing this game like Final Fantasy 13-1, the less I like it. It was great when I just had one character that was a saboteur, but it's watching that ATB bar with 5 D-Shells on it, it hurts me. Like, this is probably overkill for the vast majority of fights.
No, we can change the future, can't we?
We can, and we will. Then we can go back to homes that we've made safe.
Lightning. Thanks to Hope, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. He told us that if we solve the paradox, we can save the future. Meanwhile, in his own way, and in his own time, Hope is working toward the same goal. Together, we can keep Cocoon safe. And if we do, then I know I'll be able to bring you home. I believe this with all my heart.
The guy's is always just standing like just out of frame watching us.
How many times must I see this?
We'll never be able to take Liam O'Brien seriously. It's the same thing as before. Assume it's the same problem. Is the pillar moved now? Oh my
Another detour?
god.
It's easy to get lost when you leap across time, Kupo.
We can go back to the gate anytime. Let's take a breather.
Oh, thanks.
Say, Sarah. You're remember when you
I
told
feel
me
like
that
you could
saw lightning
remove
in
time travel
your
from this
dreams?
game and not really change very much about it.
Are you still having them?
No. The last time I saw lightning was the night before we met. Although, I've had lots of dreams about what
funny.
happened the next day.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I was just curious.
All right. My turn. I want to know about Yule.
Like the log?
I don't know anything about either of the Yules you met.
What do you mean? She could be a time traveler, right? Just like you and me and Snow.
I don't think so. She's like a reincarnation. A new Yule born over and over. In each generation of the Farseers, a girl with the same face, the same powers born. That girl is always called Yule.
So you're saying every age we travel to, there's a different Yule waiting? A Yule from Erba and a Yule from Yasha's Massif.
But they're all different. And neither are the Yule I knew. Although it took me a long time to actually start believing it.
Noel, I've been thinking. If we keep traveling through time and resolving paradoxes and changing history, doesn't that mean the future you come from will change along with everything else?
Perhaps it'll become a future where I never existed.
Is that possible?
Sure it is. But it's okay if it does.
Open to the idea that Warriors games aren't
There's too much
fundamentally
sadness in my world.
incompatible with my brain, but
Better if it never happened at all. Well, come on. Let's go. We've got a date with lightning, remember?
Yeah.
they're not incompatible with my brain. I'm fine at playing them. I immediately like the why am I doing this bubble pops, right? It was cute
Something looks different from the last
15
time.
years ago, the first time it happened, and it was impressive that there's all these enemies, right?
Beyond, Kubo.
But it really feels like a genre that's just like, yep,
just
it's
one
that.
of the many shadows of Valhalla to be found, Kubo.
So it looks similar, but it's really a separate world. That's why there are all these little differences.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like they're
Let's go see what changed.
not being a pillar this time. I think the devs of this game feel a little insecure because they occasionally have little lampshade things like that where they're a little bit embarrassed. It looks the same, but it's a totally different area.
Come on, Mom.
This place is completely fucking bizarre. Like, I was gonna say about the whole, I feel like you wouldn't have to make too many modifications of the story to write time travel out of it and just say that you're just like teleporting places. You know, in a way that would be much harder to do in something like Chrono Trigger. But like at least you've kind of had the little helpful visual of the timeline to kind of get a sense of like, well, how far in the future is this? But they've like muddied that by having a bunch of the places you travel to be triple question mark AF. Confusing as fuck. And then now they have these weird places that you occasionally go in a gate and you warp into this like space between time that's only like 3 locations that are all the same place. But when you go there from a different gate, there's like a pillar that's been removed or something. Like when I open a gate, I can't even really like intuit what's about to happen after that, right? Okay.
Minstrels of old sang of a secret place, a place that hid on the border between
Oh,
life and
is
death,
Saz just
between
here?
oblivion and eternity. In that mythical niche could be found a palace of wondrous entertainment. It was a fantastical Neverland with a staff of surpassing beauty and a proprietor who was more than human. Only those blessed by Lady Luck would ever stumble through its legendary doors. And now, as if plucked from a children's storybook, that very palace looms invitingly before Sarah and Noel.
Okay. Stop it. Stop doing that. It's like they're bursting at the seams. Jesus Christ.
Wow, check it out. What is this place?
I don't think it's a theme park. Maybe a casino? But I've never seen anything like it before.
This is like less of a game and more of like an asset deployment platform. We had a casino. We were going to fit it into the first game somehow. We couldn't really make it work. Whatever, you time travel. It's between time and space or something.
Welcome to our timeless paradise, Serendipity. You guys are travelers lost in time, right? Is this your first time here?
Wait, so you know who we are?
All sorts of people come here for different reasons. Don't worry, we won't try to get in the way of you having fun. In this place, we're all just servants of the goddess. You might know her as Lady Luck.
I don't really know much about gambling or placing bets.
All the better. You've heard of beginner's luck, haven't you? To play the games, you'll need to purchase some casino coins from the exchange desk. Go, enjoy!
Casino at the edge of... Everything can't be at the edge of eternity, guys. You can have one place. You get one. You get one place at the edge of eternity. I'm just going to start interpreting that as like, we didn't know what the fuck to do with this, but it's here, so... I don't know. God. Palette swapped.
Welcome, guys. Serendipity is the most fantastic place you'll ever visit in your life.
The first rule of gambling is knowing when to quit. But I do like watching the patrons get excited about letting their bets ride. They look so hopeful. I recommend the slot machines to any first-timers. If you want to
This is like,
the chocobo races
that meme where it's like, Mom, I want the gold saucer. We've got the gold saucer at home.
come back when they're finished to enjoy the new attractions we'll be offering.
Gold saucer at home.
A new section of the casino is being built as we speak. It's going to be a special area created just for our regular patrons. It will whisk you away from reality and make you forget about time. We'll see you back soon. May Lady Luck smile upon you today.
Gold saucer is like pretty well integrated into the story of Final Fantasy VII. I think Final Fantasy VII is one of my least favorite stories in the Final Fantasy series, but just in terms of it being kind of a mess.
You'll need to purchase casino coins in order to play the slot machines.
Is there any reason to even do this? I feel like I just want to leave. It doesn't seem like there's like a gate or artifacts here or anything, right? Go to the other area. $200 eggs.
In 400 AF, the Academy is the de facto government. Their crowning achievement is academia, a magnificent city which surpasses...
God, anyone who says their crowning achievement is academia is...
hegemony. The man that laid the foundations for the project was Hope Estime, the leader of the Academy in its formative years. Science has progressed to the stage where mankind is able to build its own artificial fal'Cie. Powered by this proto-fal'Cie, human society flourishes like never before.
Okay, that's a little interesting. Society that was like set up by Hope. Okay. It doesn't work for me like saying like, you know, this is a society that was built by Quina from Final Fantasy IX, right? I can picture what that would look like.
The power to alter destiny.
Frogs and food everywhere.
Such an ability may, if one was not careful, change a person's fate for the worse.
Okay, so basically everything that happened between
Was never meant for mortal man.
first visiting the Calmlands and now has been nonsense. Got it.
The wisdom to wield it. Sarah, you must seek out your own answers.
I think even the Calmlands was nonsense. What was immediately before that? Going to the weird Colosseum place on the edge of eternity or whatever. And the dude saying, "You're not supposed to be here."
How do you build something like this?
A little bit at a time, I guess. It probably took a lot of people working together over decades, maybe even centuries, to make this city what it is now.
I still think the game not really having an identity for what the baseline technology is of Final Fantasy 13-1 makes this whole thing work a lot less well.
The only way to make a better future was to change something right away, in here and now.
This doesn't look that much different than the tech in Final Fantasy 13-1.
It's not a bad idea. Right? Even if it can't be completed in one lifetime, it's still worth starting. If you believe that someone in the next generation will take up the same ideal, then the dream lives on.
That sounds like Hope's way.
I wish she could have seen it.
Really? She's very special to you, isn't she?
She was, but I couldn't protect her.
I hope you forgot about 13-1 having a sci-fi city. Well, it looks normal and fine and good. Right. Oh, that Besaid-like area that we started this game on, that's where the whole thing took place.
Only Selkie have this power.
Threat Facer. This is kind of a cool setting thing. I gotta give this game credit. I don't want to get, like, annoyed at Final Fantasy 13-2 momentum and not give it credit when it has cool ideas. The idea of going to a tech future where they built a proto-Falsi and there's a bunch of, like, zombies everywhere is kind of neat. We'll see how they end up using it, I guess. It's definitely very spooky.
Now things are going our way, Kubo.
Why was that mixed so weirdly?
Stay here and wait to get rescued.
Yeah, we don't have any way of knowing, like, how much do they recover from that? It's so weird that this game takes place, like, it begins at 3 AF. Like, they should have just been willing to make Sarah 40 or 50 or something. Or keep her in the ice, right? Don't have her unfreeze out of the crystal at the end of the game, and then you have a reason for why she's the same age she is, further into the future by default.
Snoop away. We can't fight back if we don't know what we're facing.
I feel like that's a common sequel problem where
This is all the work of machines.
it wants to be set further into the future than it can let itself be based on, like, the ages of the characters.
The database is being flooded with corrupt information.
Corrupt information? Is that a side effect of the paradox?
That's the current theory. At this rate, it won't be long before the entire network is infected.
Is there anything we can do to help?
There is. The paradox seems to be spreading from our topographical databanks. If we can replace this section...
At least we have a random NPC who's saying this.
Corruption.
And we can help you do this?
Yes, you can. What we need is data from places that someone has physically visited. We need
Excuse me, my ears are up here.
confirmed.
Okay. I think a big part of it is this game would have been a lot better if they knew what the hell they were doing in the first game and like planned for this.
Thinking about the sea makes me so sad. They used to be regular people.
But there's so many decisions in the first game that
Just like you and me. Well, not exactly
make it a lot harder for them to solve problems in this one, right?
I feel so blue, but I might feel better if you buy something.
I think that's still one of my enduring opinions of this game so far, that it's like pretty good given its connection to kind of like fundamentally unsalvageable source material, right? Finally get new stuff here, and that's cool. Can't buy orbs yet. These are all basically craftables.
Thank you kindly. I hope my shop is helping people in some way, no matter how indirectly.
They knew what they were doing in the first game. They obviously don't know what they're doing in either game, but could be extremely worse. Much, 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 much worse. Alright, so the prayer is that I can't get away with triple commando. Why was that a 4-star fight? What the fuck? Oh, because I didn't get a preemptive strike, maybe?
One down, more to go.
Okay. 5 that time. It's interesting. I feel like this game's disconnection from the source material is like its biggest strength, but it's also its biggest weakness because it still kind of wants to be connected to Final Fantasy 13-1. They almost would have been better off just like teleporting her to a completely different reality entirely, right? Just have it have nothing to do. The only thing that it has in common is that it features Sarah and lightning's in a cutscene or something. And it's the same combat system-ish, right?
I must have been the gatekeeper, huh?
Yes, so.
I noticed that on the Steam page for this game, the little banner is lightning, not Sarah. It's like that's kind of fucked up. Hey, I'm gonna have to switch off triple commando. That's exciting. Oh, it's dead once I get staggered. Okay. I feel like resistance to chain needs to be conveyed in some way other than the chain just not going up when you hit them, right? Like there needs to be like a color or a thing on the screen or something that represents how much the chain should be going up versus how much it is going up. Lightning is on the game's cover. I don't completely disrespect that. Like I love Metal Gear Solid 2. Like that trick where you don't actually play as Snake is genius. I wish they leaned into that a little bit more. Where do I see that? Chain resistance. Does it require a Libra scope or something? I feel like that and a lot of the information on the scan screen are crucial enough info that they should be conveyed on screen in some way. Like when you hit an enemy with an element that they're weak against, having like a little arrow next to the number, right?
Caius.
Pretend to capitulate and buy yourself time. It's not a bad strategy.
You've got no reason to fight me, Caius.
Wrong. You are the enemy. You are contradictions in the timeline. I have every reason to eliminate you. 200 years ago, you learned the forbidden history, and were entombed in that tower as a consequence. But now you stand before me alive and well once again. What can that be if not a paradox?
Towers and forbidden histories? What's he talking about? Could it be something from the future?
Could be. Maybe at some point we travel 200 years before this time and encounter Caius there. But I don't plan on letting him kill us.
There is no mistake. You are one and the same. A distortion, a contradiction.
Caius, this is unlike you. If we were in your way, why not just stop us yourself?
A fitting sacrifice was required for you to comprehend your transgressions. To that end, I enlisted some assistance.
Cool spooky statue. It's a pretty cool set piece.
Sarah!
Actually gonna make me do the preemptive strike minigame there. Down Y, okay. Triple Cerberus would have been fine here, okay. Yeah. Completely unnecessary casino.
Why would you do that?
Why is this here? Everything can't be outside of time. You can't fight, every boss fight can't be Sephiroth, okay? Like, we can't fucking fight Sephiroth in space. Stop it. Stop. Begging you to stop. Oh god, there's a fragment in the slot machine there. Yeah, my intent is to never go back there. I immediately loaded in and I was like, you know what? This seems like a waste of time.
Can't stop now. It's just what Caius would want.
Is it? What does Caius want? To preserve the timeline, it sounds like, or resolve contradictions, but we're doing that.
Your very existence poisons the timeline and invites disaster.
He really is convinced we're the cause of this paradox, huh?
Vermin. If this tragedy is to come to an end, no trace of you can remain in this reality.
Caius, we gotta catch him and make him talk.
Get him! This should do it. Try this.
Keep doing Thundaga, that was good. Do that again.
Stay
Don't
focused.
hate me.
To me, like, combat quality in this game, a bad combat is one where Triple Commando just wins without any other input. Slightly better one is where I at least need to switch to Ravager briefly, right? The best one is if I have to use some combination of Saboteur, Synergist, Sentinel, and Medic at times. I guess I don't need every random battle to be that, but... That was kind of terrible. Guys, this theme is comically dramatic.
Please just go.
Andrea has a station on Pandora that's like Muse, Pink Floyd, and the Black Mages. And her Pandora station keeps wanting to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack, which I don't think I paid attention to very much while I was playing it. But the music from the Airbuster fight, which is like one of the first significant boss fights in the game after the Scorpion,
Okay.
has Gregorian chanting in it, and it's like, it's time to stop, guys. The Airbuster theme does not need to be 26 minutes long and have Gregorian chanting. This is the Airbuster. He's a goofy robot. Why are you like this? Every time it comes up when we're driving, it cracks me up.
No, look! Now he's over there!
What's his deal? Is he goading me on or just toying with me?
Oh, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake composer the same as this one? Composer, I think, is better at adapting others' work. Let me see. I think the inability or unwillingness to build and earn things is one of my biggest criticisms of the Team Nomura, whatever we'll call them. I know it's not just Nomura. It's represented so strongly and like concentratedly in Kingdom Hearts that it's easy to just say that and have folks know what I mean. Nomura-esque. That's where I think the Zack Snyder comparison is pretty apt, because that's what they were really trying to do with the Snyderverse, right? Let's speed run the epic shit. Let's open with Thanos. Like, no, you can't do that. Stop. Please stop. Yeah, I wish there were fewer battles that took longer, because I think that the paradigm system shines in slightly longer fights. Wish there were like a quarter as many fights and each fight was like 4 times as long. Same average time spent in combat. Because I think like short, you know, normal Final Fantasy style, you press attack 3 times and everything dies fights kind of undercut the system. Like, if it's just going to die that fast, then why are we even doing this, right? Why are we even doing this paradigm system? I feel like that should be the focus. It should be quality over quantity. After playing this, I want to do more get in the car loser, because it feels like it's better. I don't know if it has all of the same iterations from this. I don't know if we ever encountered the wound mechanic in that. It's like such a cool idea for a game mechanic, and it just feels so underutilized. Or that, like, the cool parts of it have really bad interactions with other subsystems like the Crystarium. For a beautiful 3 hours at the beginning of this game, I think I got it, though. Jinx too. Duration of exist. Oh, it's okay. It's Boon, but for Saboteur. Got it. Guess we may as well keep learning stuff here. Yeah. At least has some neat ideas, I felt like. This Crystarium is like strictly an improvement over the previous game, but it still has very odd choices, I think. Like, I guess when a monster has an ability at level 20 and they don't get another one until like level 65, that's supposed to tell you, like, shelve this monster and use it later, I guess?
Could the gate be over there?
I wish we got to spend some time in this city before, like, the monster outbreak happened, right? Like, although we could see the Chocolina box back there. Like, I feel like the more typical way to do this reveal here is, like, Bioshock Infinite, right? Where you get to this crazy, like, sci-fi future and everything is really cool. Like, wow, this place is quite nice. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, it's not so nice. Everybody can turn into a horrible Seath zombie thing at a moment's notice. That's bad. Yeah, it'd be nice if you could change those in battle. I agree. You end up having to kind of like design everyone to be a generalist, which is more boring, I think. Probably too late for me to switch here. God, those 5D shell casts just really just make me want to cry. It hurts me. Somewhere deep in my bones. Did she even try to cast Imperil? Imperil's like the really busted spell, right? Oh, it's immune. Okay. Does she know that because we've scanned it? Whatever. Might tie here, we'll see.
Another pack.
Being on Saboteur or Synergist, especially Saboteur, it feels like every ATB segment that it plays out on Saboteur is like time loss, right? And it's really hard to just kind of eyeball through normal play. At what point you get more time value out of sitting on Saboteur versus losing it. Here you might. She just know that it's immune to everything else or something? I don't fucking know, man. It's nonsense. Is somebody getting commands during that? Oh, wow, Null's like buffs don't last any time at all.
You? Are you okay?
You said slightly off camera and falls down.
No!
A lot of their effort to speed up the fights like was just a quality of life thing, right? That like the animation for the battle to begin needs to be faster. Paradigm shift animation needed to be significantly faster. Those things have all been done, and I think improved the game on the whole. Just immune to everything here. It's just completely pointless, basically. Sweet. Can I target the other things? It definitely is an overcorrection. Still immune to everything? Oh, he's not. Okay. This at least feels like a fight. Kill the tentacles, and then you can do more stuff. Don't hate that. Is poison just damage? I don't remember poison being a spell on Saboteur. Oh no, it is still a status effect. Okay. Stop healing.
should help. Good to go.
I don't have diversity on here anymore. No, I must have removed it. All right, I'll fix that in a second. I'm gonna lose, and I have a plan for next time and waste less time, I guess. I also don't understand how enemy, like, attack patterns work. Sometimes they just like stand still and do nothing for a really long time, and it seems like there's nothing I can really do about it. It's very strange. These Shelgas are like a complete waste of time as far as I can tell. When you're fully wounded, I'm guessing you cannot res, right? Poison's pretty good in this game, yeah. Makes sense. I'm surprised, because was it not in Final Fantasy 13-1 as a thing that I could inflict on the enemy? I think enemies could put it on me. I don't remember being able to cast it. Maybe I'm just misremembering. God damn it. So close. Alright. Just let it kill me, I guess. It's a more interesting fight, at least. Oh, I was doing that anyway. Oh, I forgot to put on diversity. Oh, whatever, I'll do it next time if I fail here. I don't know if staggering them is actually worth it or if I should just go triple commando. Well, he's just attacking the thing that's immune to damage. Okay, so yeah, let's definitely do the other one then. Right. Is there some inherent time loss to attempting to use your ATB early? Seems like the answer to that is yes. It really sucks seeing Noel just sitting there doing fucking nothing. When he finishes buffing his synergist. It's one of those annoying bosses where, like, if you do it right early, it ends really fast. If you... This is, like, the behemoth, I guess. At least it does try to inflict a shitload of wound on you to wrap things up. God damn it. The price yet for purple? Stop auto-targeting the thing that is immune to damage, game, please. Once that happens, it's uninteractive, I guess. All the stuff we needed there. Oh, I guess it died to poison. Whatever.
You.
I thought they were gonna have me do another QT after the arrow had already been fired. He just threw it. He's just like leaning in, like he's making Mario jump higher or something. Alright, back to what we were doing.
You'll lie.
You can care about the other Yules.
If I were to live, it would bring contradiction to the timeline.
But why?
Good question.
Because of us. Just like Kaya said, we're causing a paradox to occur. Because of that, Noel has to... She has to...
I have no connection to this character.
Caius?
Noel kind of does, but explicitly to an alternate future reincarnated version of her.
He's not here in the city?
We've had previous scenes where he said, I don't really care about that one. That's not the one I know.
No. I am not the you you once knew.
Gotcha, Spiky.
But thank you.
For the love of Metro, don't thank me.
What?
artifact from Yule.
She's showing us the way.
You can't go straight from butt rock into this.
The gate is up there, Kupo.
I feel like that would have been better as our first introduction to Yule. You'd have to cut all the stuff where Sarah's like, oh no, poor Yule. She'd be like, who the fuck is this, right? They've already spent some time telling us we shouldn't care about her. Maybe we'll care about, like, his Yule specifically at some point.
Yule saw everything, you realize that? She knew exactly what would happen today. There was never a time she didn't.
But even so, she didn't try to avoid her fate.
Again, I think we needed to do the Bioshock Infinite thing in this place. We needed to come here and spend like 10 minutes, 20 minutes here before things went to shit.
If they do, they can doom thousands of others to a worse fate instead.
This game already at least has some towns and places where it slows down a little bit compared to Final Fantasy 13-1, but it feels like the fun police are still there at the periphery somewhere, right?
The law of the Farseers. It's a terrible thing to live by.
I described Final Fantasy VII Remake as feeling like it was bursting at the seams to be fucking weird.
Lightning, tell me, is there no way for us to save everybody?
And in the last like 5 hours, it just explodes and can't contain it anymore.
Because we believe we can change our fate. But even as we do, I can't forget what Yule said. She said Caius isn't in this city. But if that's true, who was it that we met here?
I just imagine the developers playtesting the beginning of this game when you're in the little like Besaid Island town and hanging out on the beach and like talking to people and it's a little slow. And they're just like staring at the screen with the controller and screaming constantly. Because nothing is happening. I guess I'll keep going this way.
Augusta Tower is the central information processing facility of the Academy.
Wait, so we're going back 200 years.
The entire edifice is occupied by the machinery of an artificial intelligence that possesses
Oh god.
unprecedented processing
Well, at least the AI isn't a one-off
it also
thing.
houses the Proto-Fal'C project, an ambitious plan to create a man-made Fal'C. Here too is recorded the forbidden history, although no human survives to remember it.
I read this timeline thing at the top of the screen. Assumed it was like branching paths and then you go forward and it's always further in the future. 200, 01X, 300, 400, 200. What is that, Matt? What does the gate matrix mean? Can anyone read that? Or does it just have no connection at all to like before and after? Just like these are the way we did the nodes, I guess. I guess I kind of like going to the ruined AI future before finding out what the AI's deal originally was, but it was still weird that the two characters knew what it was when we went there. It should have just been completely confusing, right? No little text description.
Yule wanted us to come here.
The gates link places and eras that are connected somehow. Do you remember the forbidden history? The one Caius was talking about? I'll bet we'll find some clues here.
200 years ago, you learned the forbidden history, and were entombed in that tower as a consequence.
Could this be the tower?
First off, we need to find out exactly
Alright, let's
where we
do this shit again.
Paradox effect detected. Emergency lockdown in progress.
Let me guess. We just got locked in this room.
Paradox effect detected. Emergency lockdown in progress.
So Surprised he didn't say it again. You make me do something somewhere else before I can progress here, I suppose. This is a very strange trend of this game, of popping you into a zone and instantly having to leave. Just checking other options here. I think I gotta go here. List the Moogle's help. Should just really run past these. I assume they drop nothing and are a waste of time. That can go higher than 300%. Okay. This game has big Spinal Tap energy, too. It's like, why don't you just make 100% the highest and make, you know... These go up to 300%.
Although Atlas has been deactivated, monsters still appear left and right. Holding cell key. What that door is? What a weird way to put an event flag between that part of Sunlit Waterscape in here.
Come on, Mom.
Sweet. There's some kind of like basic level scaling with enemies in this game. I feel like I should just, given that I was just in an area much higher level where the zombies were dying in like one turn, I expect these guys to die even faster. They still drop shit.
Come on, Mom.
Okay, hold on.
Looks like you lost.
Yes.
That wasn't even a warm-up.
Is that an upgrade? Probably not. Maybe a while ago it was. It has an ATD charge thing on it, but maybe I can upgrade it at some point.
I wish I'd seen that too.
Did they get rid of haste in this game? I noticed that the best synergist still doesn't have it. Or is it just that Noel doesn't learn it and only monsters will? I feel weird. I feel like I was going to only use monsters as like utility, like a saboteur or synergist and a healer, and then it seemed like that was wrong, and now it seems like it's right again.
In the year 20 AF, the Brescia ruins suddenly experienced an influx of monstrous intruders.
Don't tell me it's just the Brescia ruins, but now there's a bunch of different enemies here.
But before an investigation could be launched, the situation was already out of hand. The government all but abandoned the area and appealed to the general populace for possible solutions. The ruins crawled with mercenaries and researchers looking to make names for themselves in what had become an unregulated, lawless district. As the situation continued to deteriorate, all attempts to stem the invasion ended in wasted time and resources. 300 years have gone by since that paradox first appeared.
Okay. Song is so inappropriate.
Monsters just keeps growing, and the military's in a tizzy trying to cope, Kubo. So the government is asking civilians to help out, Kubo. Of course, the three of us are going to help, Kubo. Nothing makes us happier than lending a helping hand, Kubo. The more we help, the more the government will pay for our trouble, Kubo.
What the fuck? What is this?
I wonder how much. But what are you gonna do with all that gil anyway? Got your eye on something?
I'll figure that out once I have the gil, Kubo. First we have to earn it, Kubo.
Hey guys.
What the fuck? Like,
we're not the only ones interested in the rewards.
Mog just talked more than the rest of the game combined about the dumbest shit that had nothing to do with the way Mog has behaved at all up to this point. Also, at the same time, our two main characters are freezing to death. And it's playing this like jaunty music that's completely, oh my god, this. That sounds bad.
With this many monsters prowling the area, all we can do is take them out one at a time, starting with the ones in front of us. According to my extensive research, there should be some kind of device that's been recording the biology of these monsters for some time now. If only I could find that valuable piece of equipment, it would certainly make dealing with the monsters a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, next time I get greens, maybe.
You mean you'll do it? You'll help me look for the recording device? I knew I could count on you two!
How many of these critters do I have to kill?
What is this? Why is it... this is the most baffling zone in the game up to this point. They're playing it like it's like a weird little like cute mini game, but it's like a spooky ice apocalypse. God, Saboteur feels so bad.
No way.
Wow, I haven't seen launch from a commando in a while. I guess I'm glad that it seems less focused on, because I really disliked it. Maybe it was happening because it was... Noel was doing it and I wasn't noticing because I wasn't playing as him. Purple Chocobo is a synergist, huh? Faith and Arrow, Endless Blessings. Next thing it can do is level 33. What is... This game is so bizarre. Better off on Relentless Assault, maybe. They die before they get staggered. I wonder if this game would have worked better if it was just like full silly, right? If it was just like, let's just do really weird, fucked up, bizarre alternate realities. Like, here's an alternate reality where everything's ice, I guess. And also Mog is like weird and greedy for some reason. Maybe the recording device, oh.
Bring me back some good news. Please, if you can find the recording device.
Just reviewing that I already accepted the quest. Okay, I was confused.
It's true that I used to be part of the military, but now I'm a mercenary. People around here call me Commander, but I'm not sure I live up to that name.
Just envisioning a version of this where you load in and it plays like this really like somber music, like, you know, People of the North Pole kind of song. Snow just instantly disappears when you jump in here. And like it's not playing this music, and Mog doesn't say the weird thing about I'm gonna make a bunch of gil. And there's just like depressed soldiers slowly working through fighting monsters and stuff. Like the tone is so strange. And I love how it's like literally just the same map, right? Like even the chests are still opened. Game is completely bizarre.
I wonder why people waste their efforts picking off monsters one creature at a time. I know a faster way we can get rid of them. We just need a lot of explosives, enough to blow up the entire ruins. I'm having an explosives expert look into it now. If you happen to run into
This is like a different reality. Like,
can you let him know that I want to speak with
it
him?
seems like all of these interact with each other in a way where it's like you do something in the past, it doesn't affect the future. It's not like the time travel boxes in Chrono Trigger where you open them, you check them in the future, then you check them in the past, right? And then you open them in the future.
Don't forget, his nickname is the Commander.
I don't even see what the point of the Chocobo is, given that you can just run past everything. I guess it's slightly faster to run around.
You need something from me? Oh, you want to know how the investigation's going, don't you? The report's done, yeah. According to my calculations, if we were to blow up the entire ruins, there's a chance we'll harm Cocoon. Turns out we can't just blow up entire ancient cities willy-nilly.
What a report!
Would've been a hell of a show. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. I found something strange when I was investigating the area. I've included my findings in the report. Do me a favor and make sure this gets to your client safely.
This level is breaking my brain. This is like crazier than the craziest stupid shit in Final Fantasy X-2. I think that's probably the closest analog for this game is 10-2. This might be like one of the clumsiest like reuses of existing assets I've seen. Wrong way. Like I said, I'm not opposed to reusing assets. I think that games can do it really well. Majora's Mask, any Souls game, Elden Ring in particular.
Gave you his report. Can I take a look? Well, he poo-pooed my mass destruction idea. I thought it was a good idea at the time. Well, back to the drawing board.
Why is this a quest?
Something interesting in his report. Apparently, the ruins have been subject to many explosions in the past, and they weren't from any battle. There was a direct attack on the academy by a certain group. I've never heard of anything like this before. I have a feeling there's a lot I don't know about this. I shouldn't stick my nose where it doesn't belong. Anyway, here's something for your trouble.
What is happening? Libra on kill. Which I guess is useful for... That's such a weird ability. So doesn't that already happen? But this just would be useful on like the first 2 kills of an enemy you're gonna kill multiple times or something? What's the mithril ring I just got? It's a fragment.
I think you guys took a wrong turn somewhere. The kiddie pool is that way.
Am I having a nightmare? Like, am I awake right now? Like... It's like... Yeah, I can't articulate what this is at all. I can't even start to speculate. Like, obviously you know, they felt like they didn't have enough content and they already had this map, so they reused the map and they just added a lame weather effect and a bunch of guys walking around.
It's not working.
Let's go find an artifact.
So it's filler, and it... See, I think that's the thing, is that, like, although Final Fantasy 13-1 is nonsense, and stuff happens for no reason, and the fun police are constantly on the sidelines trying to, like, move things along, I don't think it ever feels like weird filler. It's just bad. What? What is this? This is a bug? Why can I examine that one thing?
Come on, Mom.
Oh, maybe. I don't think I've seen that happen with people before. Thank you.
Me and my buddy are out here doing research on monsters in the area, but I can't get a hold of him. Can you find him? He should have some sort of message for me. I'm counting on you two. Oh, by the way, he's a slightly odd fellow. Natural-born jokester, if you will.
This game, this level is going to break me. What is the tone here? This is a horrible post-nuclear winter future where everything is just monsters. And there's a guy who is disrupted from the time flow who I restored. He's like, hey, can you go find my buddy? He's a bit of a jokester.
I'm the only one pulling their weight around.
This is so fucking weird. She doesn't even stand out in the tone here. Is this the buddy? Buddy?
No, don't touch that. Don't touch the device. I may not look it, but I'm a government agent. Sounds like a cool job, huh? Only a handful of Academy officials have access to this device. But others are authorized to handle it in certain emergencies. Okay, you don't have the experience to be handling something as sophisticated as this. Even if you really want to touch it, you can't. There are rules.
Come on, Mom.
All of it is made all the more freaky and weird by the completely inappropriate music. He's not standing close enough to me here. There'll be some kind of weird quest later, okay.
Welcome, Master. I am here to serve your every need. Just kidding, Chocobocolina!
This is like if they took Chocolina and like turned her into an entire zone.
Come on, Mom.
There's a recording device. The rich Chocobo is stream value. Okay.
Welcome, one and all.
God, it's really expensive though.
Until we meet again.
It's later when I have more money. Does it show up in other zones? How quickly does it consume greens? To like once a minute or? Lose here, it's okay. Can you cast Raise, please?
Good boy.
Nice timing. Enjoy.
Trying to get diversity back. I'll remember at some point. I figure out why my healers suck so bad too. I've been leveling them up.
Enjoy.
I need help.
Here.
Good boy.
Cast animation is slow? Didn't realize that was even like a dimension that things could have. Peril never landing once again. Painfully.
I need. Sorry.
Here.
This is a fight that I feel like probably should have had wound on it. I shouldn't have been able to limp for that long. Thanks. Okay. So I have a shit medic for weird reasons. He's just like guaranteed to suck because of his casting? Casting animation sucks? I feel like I should just bring back the one I was using forever ago. Did I max that one out? Doesn't have raise. It's cheer at 34, which is actually somewhat soon. It's raise at 51. What is this game? Why is it like this? I think it's intended to cause you to like switch out monsters. I'm just worried about like equipment and stuff. I have to buy a bunch of Phoenix Downs. I'll get it next time I get to a Chocobo. Is that the song? I love how that just happens. Yeah, okay. That's pretty funny. Although it seems like 300 gil per 5 seconds or so of Chocobo time. Does that show up anywhere else in the game, or is it just in this zone? Did Uematsu do that? That's cool. I'm sure he always wanted to do a metal Chocobo theme. Alright, well, I'll try to save up greens for it. It's pretty funny. They're kind of going to do every possible genre with Chocobos.
Let's see here. This should be chock full of data. There's enough information in here to keep me busy for years to come. Thank you. You've been a great help. This breakthrough will help the military immensely.
I don't know.
They'll give me won't hurt
I'm
either.
baffled by the existence of the red Chocobo. Like, the song is funny. It probably should just be the Chocobo song in this one. But, like, 300 gil per 5 seconds is like a horrible value proposition, it feels like. Like, the only reason I would ever do that is just to hear that song. Okay, another quest here. Didn't get an actual artifact. Like, you've already been in this zone with a regular Chocobo that doesn't cost you so many greens per second. Am I, like, spinning my wheels lost here or something? I'm confused. Turning in side quests and stuff, right? Well, I figured because I used the wild artifact to get here.
You up to this. That's not funny. It's been years since he... All right then, guys. What say we play a little game? If you can keep up with me, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Deal? Then let the game begin! Or should I say, let the pain begin!
Why was that so loud?
Anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down. This medical textbook is useless. It has no appendix. Magic was useless. They didn't run a spell check. Not all jokes are funny. I'm proof of that. I've met my Sarah people, and I know not many can keep up. You have my respect. Now give it back! I wrote everything down. Here, take this. Oh, and one other thing. Tell him that he's my one and only buddy till the day I stop breathing. You look confused. You see, the thing is, the man you talked to before, my buddy, he died 3 years ago. I don't mean to scare you, but you were talking to a ghost, not a person. Thanks for playing along. I had a roaring good time.
Come on, Mom. Look out!
Brought back the message from my buddy, did you? Let's see here. He discovered a new species of monsters? Could that be the missing link beyond the realms of space-time? He did it! I knew he had it in him! What's that? You say he left me another message? He said that I'm his one and only buddy till the day that he drops dead? That's just like him. You already know, right? I'm not like you guys. I don't belong in this world anymore. I ended up here by a simple twist of fate. If you see him again, tell him he needs to find himself a new buddy that'll watch his back. Got it? Anyway, thanks, guys.
I got nothing. I can't believe that was real. I'm convinced that I'm like dreaming right now. Like that felt like a nightmare. Like not like oh it's a nightmare because it's confusing and oh it's messy. Like it felt like what it feels like to have to like wake up from a nightmare where nothing makes sense, right?
haunted the young.
Like, it sounds like someone telling a story, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this mission in this like ruined icy future with this red chocobo that plays a metal song, and I'm like talking to this guy who's friends with a dead guy, but he like challenges me to a joke competition.
A method to reverse the paradox was never found, and with the passing of the years, the Crimson Spheres simply became another part of the scenery.
That was a weirder sequence. Like, I've played fan games, like really cringy fan games that don't have stuff like this. This is a AAA product, folks. Red chocobo every 200 feet. That level is... it's gonna be immortal.
Something is happening in the ruins of what was once the most prosperous city in the world. Many of the scientists and researchers who came to investigate the site have gone missing.
It has to have been on purpose, right?
Ominous sphere-shaped objects appear in their place.
I love how the characters have almost no voice acting there, too.
He told us they're called...
Like, they do the silent protagonist thing with the NPCs, like, oh, what, you say this? And then you say this?
Remorse and sadness left by the unlucky souls who disappeared into the paradox. The orbs resonate with a powerful emotion sealed inside. What kind of message are they trying to tell us?
If this place is important in any way, that it requires the previous joke segment to get to.
Do you feel that?
Yeah. It's like someone's talking to me inside my head.
What's going on with the sudden audio? What's with the giant block of text in the middle of the screen? That instantly transitions into a mission?
What you heard were the voices of the tormented victims who disappeared into the void beyond.
I don't think this game is trying to feel like what it feels like to have a dream, but it feels like a dream.
So that's what that was. Is there anything we can do for them?
I'm with Noel. Let's help them find peace so they can go to a better place.
I don't know if this is like an accidental art masterpiece.
If I sense the slightest hint of danger, I'm out of here.
I don't think it can top that ice level. Everything about it, top to bottom.
I admire your sense of adventure, but steer clear of mine.
Come on, Mom.
What is with the red planet spheres everywhere? Okay, Ozma gave me a quest. Weird, stylistically dissonant, center justified italicized text from a red ball is my current mission. Seriously, what is happening?
Come on, Mom.
This is an acronym. Like this goes so far. I've played a lot of games that are really like surreal. A lot of Japanese games that are surreal, right? Like that's not an uncommon thing to do.
Welcome, you and...
But they still feel like kind of grounded in reality-ish, I guess. So much money. If you want to hear that song more, it is pretty funny.
I really hope to...
Chips. So expensive.
Everyone comes to.
Oops, wrong creature. I think I just need 2 more. Probably need total of 6 more materials. 8. I think it was 6 last time. So I was worried about spending money on it. Okay. Still needed 1 more. Okay.
Welcome one.
Thought I only had that last node. 7 just in case it went up to 7 now.
See you later.
This monster's at its full potential. Whatever. Fine. It wasn't anything until 62. Can't you get something at 51? I play a lot of Japanese games that are really like intentionally surreal, but still feel kind of grounded and don't feel like I'm having a nonsense dream. Like, how do you get a team to agree on that, right? How does not even a single person say, really? That's what we're doing? You can speak, Speak Nomura. Just listen to the song. I don't actually need it. I wanted to hear the rest of the song, but I need to get this item. Pretty great.
You did it. Go, Mog, go.
Where am I? What happened to me? I think
Hey, it's the same model from
I remember having an argument with my sister.
Academia.
I was here, but I know it's not her fault. It's not anyone's fault. I understand that. But if I know her, she's blaming herself for my disappearance. She must be so distraught. Can I ask a favor of you? If you see my sister, tell her that I love her very much.
It's gonna be like a trading minigame, but
This was her fault. As much as I want to, I know I can't go home and tell her myself. I was swallowed up by the paradox. I was attacked by the monster. I just don't belong in this world anymore.
really good question. Yeah, why wasn't the center justified italicized text voice acted? Oh right, I forgot I can't. Wish I remembered where this song was last time. I'm just gonna have to listen to it off stream or something. I really like this song. You were right to insist that I hear it. Thank you for insisting. But it wasn't even the weirdest thing in the previous zone. I wish that it happened in a more normal zone. Or if it was just like the regular Chocobo theme. So did they ask Uematsu for it and then decide that it was too much and then decide that they needed to find a place to like hide it to make it an Easter egg? Because it wasn't serious enough for their serious game or something? Like what? Like the song is funny, but the usage of the song is baffling. To me, that's completely fine and good. Like, that's what the Chocobo theme has been doing for decades, right? Is, oh, this is a surf version. This is a mambo version, right? So it makes sense for it to be metal at some point. It's funny that it has lyrics. I'm sorry. They really don't make it a good value proposition, though. I mean, if you don't already know that the song is funny, right? If it was like 1 green per minute or something, maybe. But it's like you're like paying to hear the song, basically.
Maybe we could use bots to handle the workload.
Why is there
There was a way to cut down on our hours.
Is this the only guy with barks?
I wonder what kind of person is brave enough to become a
Other people are talking at
Get this
least.
done a lot quicker if we had more people.
Welcome to the fallen city of Padra, site of ancient ruins. We don't get a lot of visitors around these parts, although I'm not very surprised, since there's not much to see or do here. There was a powerful paradox effect in these ruins. A group of Academy staff investigating the area just disappeared without a trace. That's why so many sections have been closed off.
They say that the Seers were sentenced to severe punishment.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is weirder than anything in like Sonic 06, right? Like.
That's an interesting weapon you have there.
Is that all? Is there just the one fragment here? Brescia Ruins 300 AF needs to get some kind of like stream award from me for the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's gotta be here then, right? It's just seeing if I left. Like, AI-generated art and text was not a thing when this game came out. but it felt remarkably like that. Like it felt like I was playing like a text-based roguelike or something.
Emergency lockdown in progress.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Thank you for accessing the Academy DataNet. Welcome to the Academy DataNet. The Proto-Fal C project was begun in 13 AF under the direction of the Academy. The objective was to develop an artificial Fal C in order to re-levitate Cocoon. The project was proposed and designed by Alyssa Zidell and directed by Hope Estime.
Do you realize what this means? The Academia Fal C must have been built by Hope.
He needed power to float Cocoon.
Why do you have to interact with 4 consoles that all say the same thing? And the first... Okay.
But then Caius took control of the artificial Fal C. And now we need to find out why.
Outer perimeter now accessible.
We're free to leave the room now, right?
I love the people just standing around. Oh my god, just randomly copy pasted. Are they literally the same guy? This game is a dream. Nightmare is not the right word because it's not scary, right? I guess it's scary in the sense that it like threatens your sanity.
Thank you for accessing the Academy DataNet. Welcome to the Academy DataNet. This is a DataNet security alert.
You're kidding.
Paradox effect detected. Emergency lockdown in progress.
Oh my god.
Paradox effect detected.
I think games like this, like there are certain JRPGs that kind of encourage you to not play them super attentively, right? To just kind of like go through the areas and, you know, you're side questing, so the side quest stuff doesn't really need you to pay as close of attention. Dude, I don't know. Are they one of the 9-2 ones, since there are 2 that start with 9?
Welcome. You have access to the Academy DataNet.
Kind of like let your eyes glaze over and just kind of play it and do the battles and stuff, right? I think it was because I was playing that ice level attentively.
Is that us? From before? This machine can show different eras.
Yeah, exactly.
He might have been watching us from here the whole time.
Do you mean Caius?
If that's who he really was, the Caius we met in Academia seemed different to me. I don't think he was the real Caius.
How could you tell?
We used to spend a lot of time together. We were both guardians. Warriors who were charged with protecting the Cirrus, although I was young back then, just starting out.
Seems
Anyway,
like
he
relevant
took off,
information.
Left me and Yule on our own. I couldn't protect her. Not by myself. Then, when there was just me left, a portal appeared.
Like how this game is like sensical for 3 hours and then just starts unraveling immediately in all directions.
You met them there, didn't you? My sister and Caius.
I don't know why I keep running into him wherever I go. But I do know he wouldn't sacrifice the Cirrus. It's not in him. There's no way he'd allow Yule to come to harm.
Well, we've got to find him.
Rando same face NPC in the corner there.
We have to help.
Yeah.
23 is number 1.
Not again. It's so frustrating.
What's wrong?
Missing some of my memories.
Why are we talking about this now?
I'm trying to think about what happened after Caius left us, but
Why did putting in the code in the computer make him start talking about this?
I remember her face. I remember it like it was yesterday.
a trauma delay from...
All areas now accessible.
Dude. Yeah, I've heard that a really great example of how you should understand Eldritch Horror, where it's like, you know, imagine an ant is climbing around on a circuit board and it like is meaningless to them. It's just like a bunch of weird monoliths and shapes and stuff. But then like imagine the ant briefly was like granted understanding of what a circuit board actually does. And then they like lose that knowledge and they go insane because of it. What? That's what that ice level felt for me. Like I briefly glimpsed the structure of reality. Then I had to go back to being an ant. Cursed with knowledge.
There he is. Now we grab him and find out if he's the real deal.
We have to be careful. This could be a trap.
There must be some way we can get across.
Why don't we just...
The circuits are tangled with another age, Kuko.
It's being jammed by a paradox.
Maybe we can fix it with a key from another time.
Kuko!
Just a sec. If a key from another time is all we need, don't we already have one?
Oh, hey, you're right. There is that access key we picked up. Couldn't hurt to try it.
That's more like it.
Now we can explore the other floors.
That's almost a cool idea, yeah.
Hey, that girl. Isn't that Alyssa? What's she doing in this time period?
What's everyone else doing at this time period other than being sloppily copy-pasted around, standing, doing nothing?
Can't be her. Let's find out for sure.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. She doesn't know who we are. I guess she's not Alyssa after all. Alyssa?
We used to know a girl who looked like you. But that was a long time ago now.
My apologies. I must recalibrate my previous greeting. It appears that you are acquainted with the original.
What a way to reuse the content.
I am a duplicate of the Alyssa Zidell entity. My design is based on her biophysical data.
How'd she...
So maybe you're supposed to come here first before you go to the future version? Since I'm guessing you get the key from the future version, right?
The semantics are irrelevant.
Retrieve information
Are all
from
the people
Alyssa.
who work here the same as you, Alyssa? Yes. Everyone is a duplicate. An artificial life form.
That's why they're standing around randomly. I love their like kind of insecurity about this. It makes it even better.
It's like the liveliness has been sucked out of the Augusta Tower lately. The people there are all so quiet and almost robot-like. Although I'm not human, so what do I know?
Chicken and egg.
Anyway, back to business.
Basically guarantee you that random people standing around came first. Someone's like, that's weird. All this shit is such garbage. It's like it either directly increases my DPS or it increases my health. I could see that being valuable. And then anything that's like resist status, who cares unless if it's 100%.
around here, so I've been talking to myself a lot, trying to keep things lively, you know?
Immovable 2. Moderately reduces. Okay, well. I don't know what moderately means in that case. I love that there's an item that's 66% chance to resist D-Shell. I mean, I guess you get into a boss fight where D-Shell fucks you up and you try to equip that, but... I think for the most part, Final Fantasy 13-1 didn't feel overtly ashamed of itself or like insecure about itself, which is part of what made that game so baffling, is that it had this like unflappable confidence despite being like absolute nonsense, right? Here the confidence is gone, so it feels more, I don't know, intimate, vulnerable. Yeah, there are 3 tiers of that effect, and that's the mid-tier one, right? And the first 2 are basically trash. It was like such a non-level. The futuristic version of it was the same. This area, this zone, reminds me a lot of some of the extra zones in Final Fantasy X-2, where it's like they just did their best to just throw something in there, right?
Alyssa, you haven't had any other visitors recently, have you? Like someone called Caius, for example.
The Caius entity came through recently, accompanied by a green-eyed girl. They were proceeding to the top of the tower.
Yule as well? Why is she here?
To protect time.
Is she trying to protect time? To protect history? Do you remember? That's what Caius said to us that time we met him in Erba.
Yeah, well, if that's why Yule is here, we're in big trouble. Caius said he entombs us in this tower and seals the forbidden history, right? What if that's the true timeline, and Yule is here to make it happen?
She's already seen what is going to happen to us here.
Right. Caius said we were distorting history, throwing the timeline into confusion. If he's right, we've got to be stopped.
If anyone knows the secrets of this tower, it'll be Caius. If it means resolving the paradox, we have to talk to him.
We make the first move. Sounds good to me. Let's get our future back.
Alyssa, will you take us to the top floor?
Of course. This way.
If a person is created artificially, do they still have a spirit?
They say spirit is a gift from the goddess, given to humans and humans only. We're studying contradictions, with the freedom to make mistakes and the will to start over.
And we owe all that to our spirit?
So the legends tell us.
This way, please.
What's happening?
Is this a paradox?
Go see what's happening. On it. What is this? No.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the stuff happening that's actually happening in a different time is kind of a cool idea. A neat, like, foreshadowing tool. But it's used so dumbly in this game. Like, feels very underused. The whole time travel concept in general, it's like they wanted to do it to justify reusing areas a whole bunch of times, but then just didn't want to spend a little bit of time on like making the zones feel really distinct from each other. They like relied on skybox changes and like, you know, slight palette shifts and stuff. It's awful. And there's a sad red orb on the map. What the fuck?
What the hell was that?
I didn't give that its full attention for how fucked up and weird it was because it immediately followed the ice level.
187 years ago. Wait a minute. So, you're saying the real Hope and Alyssa were murdered?
Yes, after the tower was completed. During the Proto-Fal'Cie development project, the artificial intelligence and humans came into conflict.
The artificial intelligence killed them? Because they were in the way?
I'm afraid so.
I feel like you should do this level before doing the future version of this level, because then they at least have a reason to know what an artificial intelligence is, I guess. You know, interesting question is whether this game at some point in development was more linear. And they got like instructions from on high that was a complaint about the first game. Like, it seems like the whole time travel thing exists to intentionally make it feel less linear, right? Some of the weirdness of this game would make more sense through the lens of, at some point during development, it was structured completely differently, and then they ended up having to reshuffle it. And they did their best to make it fit the most in the first couple hours, and then just kind of lost control of it after that point. I also wonder if they had an edict from on high about like how long the game had to be. That would explain a lot of the like filler stuff.
Were killed in this tower. And then, after they were dead, the AI took control of the Academy.
A broken Fal'Cie was created by a broken artificial intelligence. Humans were betrayed, and then they were wiped out.
And the duplicates were mechanical puppets that were built to hide what happened.
The exposition. Elevator battle montage. It's fun. Yeah, the camera's a decision. I'm trying to ignore it. Like, I don't... It's not like it's tied to the elevator's movement or something. Like, that would have been hard to make it do that, right? That's definitely an intentional choice.
That wasn't even a warm-up.
You two have seen it now. You've seen the forbidden history. People who know too much have to be buried.
Okay.
It stopped moving.
Can they just like drop the elevator and kill us?
The door on us. Well, now we've seen the forbidden history. Does that mean we're stuck here for good?
200 years ago, you learned the forbidden history, and were entombed in that tower as a consequence. But now you stand before me alive and well once again. What can that be if not a paradox?
I remember him saying that too.
Do you remember what Kaya said?
I don't know, you still have a
In his
pause menu.
memory, the next thing that happens is we die.
Well, good for the AI for just
That's
like
why he
locking us
acted
in
the way he
here.
did. As far as he was concerned, we were supposed to be dead. He saw us 200 years later, assumed it was a paradox, and tried to get rid of us.
But there's a way out. If we can survive now instead of dying, that will automatically change history.
It's a
We can save the future.
easy way to get an event flag here.
Agreed. Alyssa and Hope's fate are in our hands. It's not over yet. Not by a long shot.
No, that there's a timeline where they just fucking gave up and died of starvation in there. Are we really doing the Final Fantasy arpeggios here? Okay, no, we're not.
This is more than just an elevator malfunction. We've been sucked into the paradox.
What a line. This is more than just an elevator malfunction.
There's something strange going on with the system.
All we can do is try to fix it, and not get our own wires crossed in the process.
I really thought the answer was just going to be that we were going to like warp out. Last Hope and Noel, or last Sarah and Noel didn't think to do that. Oh, that seems pretty good, actually. Wound Ward for specific bosses. It's no ordinary house. We'll see if I'm able to recover from that ice level by next week. I don't know if I can. I think that's gonna be like... You ever like left something on a CRT TV for too long and the image like burns in on the screen? Like I think that level is gonna be that in my brain. I haven't seen anything like it in any game we've ever played. It being in like a AAA Square Enix game makes it even weirder. It might land. So when did it come out relative to 13.1? 3 years later? 2 years later? It started development that early, before people were really able to collect all of the feedback to the first game. Years later.
Is that it?
Probably Sab bonus too, because I need that for Saboteur to not feel like complete ass. Just short of it. Interesting. Yeah, that's ridiculously fast. It's like worrisomely fast. I think I need this one, boring though it is, because right now his synergist buffs are like horrible. Yeah, no kidding. Fully grown and can advance further, whatever.
On to the next.
Zerg Metro. That's just a strictly better version than the Scandroid. I can't tell what the eventual max level is for a creature, right? Other than just putting points in them. Yeah, the word laziness is bouncing around in my head. I'm trying to decide, does Final Fantasy 13-1 feel lazy compared to this? Does this feel lazy? In certain ways, yes, definitely. But in other ways, it's like, well, it's a 1.5 year dev cycle. This is the only way they could put out a game that's this long. But I think a lot of the stuff that bothered me about 13-1 was that it felt like it wasn't lazy, that they were just making bad decisions completely on purpose. That makes sense. Late bloomer means they have a high level cap. Guess I can just throw a Mog at that thing. I kind of hate the Mog throwing mechanic. It makes finding items in zones just like annoying. Okay, thanks. But also the level isn't necessarily a great indicator of efficacy because, like, there could be a level 1 monster that's stronger than a level 40 monster by default. Awesome. Around here. Well, it seems like if a creature defaults to needing a tier 4 level up material at level 1, that means they're probably stronger than a creature that just unlocked tier 4 level ups through Crucerium expansions. Fantasy 13, 1 through 3, Fantasy 14, 1.0, Dragon Quest 10. Haha, yeah.
Too easy.
I think the third one I need to rotate more or something. I guess we'll see.
This will show you.
Looks like you lost.
No one's hurt, right?
Well, Mog's dead. Good run.
This one's mine.
That wasn't even a warm-up.
This will show you.
Seriously? That's a 4-star? Whatever game. I don't understand. I see this has to be one more. This is such a lame puzzle. Like, oh wow, so that's part of the reason why there's so many unused assets that got repurposed into this one.
Is that it?
Okay, good. Oh, good.
There we go.
You think we fixed the elevator?
The old cocoon fell from the sky because the Fal'Cie
Do we just need to
power
explain why Lacies and Seaths are still a thing? Is that what's going on here?
At least that's how Hope planned for things to go, right?
Right, but the artificial intelligence needed to build the proto-Fal'Cie rebelled against the humans. That's when everything went wrong.
God damn it. That first rotation is where I was supposed to get the item in the back.
This one's mine.
Why is that 4 stars? I don't understand. It died like instantly. Why are you the way you choose to be, game? Yeah. And we've got a bunch of hell zombies, and we don't really have very many assets to work with. And we want to justify why you're fighting Seath, because we're a little uncomfortable with that aspect of the game. I'm worried about them just healing each other constantly. They can't really focus fire with all commandos. Thought that one was going to give me a 5-star. I was about to be really mad. It seemed to have no connection. Okay. I need one of these. Probably this one needs to be Ravager, Commando, Ketchy. What's that thing on the back of the map? Yeah, right.
This'll show you.
I don't like how much hidden information is associated with picking monsters to use in your party. I feel like they needed to have like a really standout passive or be built around a specific maybe elemental ability or something. I'm not sure, but the way they're currently designed, it just sort of feels like I'm going back to the other room. I thought I'm gonna have to find another path to get to that item on the edge. I can't really like assess the value of the different medics. I guess I can look at their abilities, but when there's like hidden information, like how long their casting animation is. I assume like being able to loop around is going to allow me to get to the outer walkway now, because I'll be able to rotate the other one in a different direction. At least that's kind of a puzzle.
Not just face the door, you need to face it. It definitely makes sense that the failure of Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 was born out of the same kind of hubris as, or that, I'm sorry, the issues with Final Fantasy 13 are born out of the same kind of hubris as Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, I should say. Do not understand why that gives me 4 stars. It's funny every time. Why does this even let me do this? Seriously though, is it just to get that item? Oh, it's because it's to get that item, but I threw Mog at it. Okay. Well, then never mind about the clever puzzle thing. Yeah.
That wasn't even a warm-up.
Finally 5 stars on the Flan fight. Jeopardize. Okay. Guess it's time to do accessory capacity. The accessories are all boring and lame. Let's do this. Hate putting points in Sentinel. It's less bad in this. Well, I don't even know if it is less bad. It's just maybe better explained how you're supposed to use it. Don't need the Ravager boost. Really 0 orbs here. Wow. Sorry. Orion's a commando. Early peaker. Chips. Well, how they're just like completely random with their placement of the goofy NPCs standing around. This could take a while. Killed one. I really want to have a barrel link for that, I feel like. The game is still better about little things like helping you know when you're in trouble, right? With the little red on the edge of the screen. There are still improvements here over 13.1. I think the obvious laziness of a lot of the elements of this game make me like less hard on it because it felt like 13.1 was doing everything on purpose and not because of like obvious budget or time limitations, right? That it was so frustrating. A Wii MMO in 2012. Yeah. Is there any good Dragon Quest X? Given it was released around the same time as this and 14.1.0, I have to assume possibly not.
Hope and his team now seems hell-bent on killing us.
So you don't think the Proto-Fal'Cie and the other AI are being controlled by Caius?
No, I don't. Someone else is pulling the strings.
It has to be Caius. This is just like a murder mystery.
Couldn't the culprit be the artificial intelligence itself? What if something that humans created found a mind of its own?
Yes, yes.
So you're saying a machine learned to think for itself?
Yes, that's...
Then it wouldn't need anyone at the controls, would it?
I don't... This isn't a genre savviness thing. This is like the game told you this. Explicitly. That's not a revelation. Oh my god.
We're almost at the top floor. I bet that's where Caius is.
Better get our hands on an access key then.
Eight mana engines. I love how even this place is just like multiple floors of the same thing, and they've reused the whole zone once.
Awesome. That way.
Mog's dead again. Whoops. That's significantly nastier.
This one's mine.
I need to pick up rays on one of them. But they both already fully understood it when we went to the future version of this place when it was all red. And then the game has told us repeatedly, like, that's what the AI was doing. There's, like, in-game paratext that says that, some of the fragments. When they talk to you, they tell you that directly. Oh, wow. That's funny, Spiky. can never. These guys always die before they get staggered, but they also take forever to kill as straight up commandos.
Well done.
Chests here drop orbs, but all of the enemies drop the progression currency that's like 1 or 2 tiers before orbs. But I've been to 2 zones before this where all the enemies dropped orbs. I don't get it.
You did it.
It's unknowable. Yeah, live through a doomed future.
I got this.
Right. Couldn't be any less of a boomer. Oh, it's 10 already. Okay. Feels almost like the bigger impact of Ravager versus Commando is just getting people to focus fire on the same target. In some of these random battles anyway, I understand the distinctions in a boss fight, but... I bet it's a platinum casino ticket that I missed downstairs. Okay. Well, the design of this area means that enemies always spawn on top of you, too.
Goodbye. We did it.
It didn't spawn on me that time. That was nice. Feels like a big advantage of the Feral Link is like you get a full ATB bar once it's done, but I also can't tell if the enemies are still getting to act during it. It seems like the Flanators maybe get to continue to heal.
That wasn't even a warm-up. It's
a mix of having to like set them from off the bridge. The other Ravager doesn't want to try to focus fire at the same one for whatever reason. Now it's going. Oh, I see. Some of the controls are outside. Annoying. Did you use Faraga when there were 3 of them?
This'll show you. No one's hurt, right?
Feels like not using auto battle is doable, but like the extra effort you have to spend for very little gain doesn't make it super worth even bothering, it seems like. See if there's any other consoles here. The encounter rate's like unusually high here. Stands out because there's just a lot more not, and that happens a lot, yeah.
Not feeling great.
Gonna be before he heals him. Okay, it's just that one. The outside of that building there. My sword doesn't become available before I've already bumped into them, it seems like. There's all these like weird effects in this game that aren't like modeled with stuff in the UI, like just weird things that happen that suddenly cause you to lose control of your character, like getting knocked up slightly, or an enemy slightly pushing you back, or being slightly out of your range, or enemies not standing close enough to each other for AoEs to work. I feel like that's another thing that this system needs. Like, it doesn't need to have these characters walking around constantly like it's Chrono Trigger and doing like weird animation effects to each other, like knocking them up. Like, I think it's there to create the everything about Final Fantasy 13 feels like it's trying to say it's not your grandma's JRPG, right? Like, oh, don't, it's not turn-based. It's an action game. It's not, like, it is turn-based. Stop. Like, you're not gonna trick me, basically. Tried turning around immediately, but there was one right behind me. I think my rash of 4-star ratings, too, is because I'm not getting the preemptive stray.
Looks like you lost. Looks like you lost.
I need help.
Oh, sweet, Sveki. This guy has chain resistance. 80 means that it ignores 80 points of chain for every 100 dealt or something? Like, what does that mean? I feel like they could represent chain resistance pretty easily with a color on the stagger bar, like different colors based on how resistant it is to stagger. It seems like the ones that resist it, it's just like basically straight up pointless to try to use Ravager on them at all. And like having you jump into another menu to see that feels bad to me. Same thing to 97 agility. Now you're casting Faraga on these guys. Seems like a pretty good choice. I need to get raised for somebody. Can't level these guys up at all. Got a handful of orbs, okay. So expensive though. It seems like the rate at which they give you level up materials just like significantly slows. Didn't really help me. Yeah, contextless number to describe a thing you can't perceive. I guess you're supposed to just notice, oh, while I'm attacking it, the stagger bar is not going up, but I don't know, I hate that. I feel like you could use like 7 colors for each possible kind of resistance, right? Where like, I guess that's where I need to go. Yeah, I'm sure you have enemies who are extra weak to stagger too. Stop that. Cast Faraga, you dumbass.
This isn't great. Please work. How's this?
You can literally just mash every button on the controller and get a pretty good synchronization for that if you get what the command is. Okay, so I gotta turn that to point me against that back thing. Preemptive strike, oh my god.
This one's mine.
It feels like auto battle is pretty necessary if you're trying to do anything that's using multiple different size segments, right? Is there another ATB segment above 5, or is 5 the maximum?
We did it!
It's the rotation I need, I think. I tried listening to the left there.
Not feeling great. No one's hurt, right?
No good. Yeah. Also, it feels weird to have a bunch of, like, 3-segment abilities and have it only go to 5. Especially when not using auto battle. Oh, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, literally, that was just me mashing the controller. I knew it was all D-pad buttons. Because you have that one, there's one QTE that requires you to time it. And these levels just feel like a really extended, like, time waste. Leads to a virtual space within the AI mainframe. But we decided to use the same gate model.
This is
It's not a time portal at all.
Next up, the very top floor.
That enemy just straight up interrupted an attack. Yeah, just stopped it from being used.
Not feeling great. Did it.
You might be up there with him, Kubo.
You might be right. Why would the Cirrus come here?
For weird reasons. Surprised they even bother rendering the other cubes down there. smash everything. Can I use monster fusion effectively maybe as a way to... Is the reason they're not giving me monster level up materials is because they want me to, like, use the weak materials to level up trash monsters and then have my other monsters eat them or something? How does monster fusion even work in this? So, like, does it give you extra benefits if the monsters reach the peak of its growth, or... Can I eat level 1 monsters? Like... It doesn't seem very friendly to experimentation because there's already so many unknowns about the monster trees that if I just, like, burn a monster, I can't get it back, I assume. It wouldn't make any sense to have one here, but I feel like this zone, the red chocobo would make more sense because of the way encounters work. You can't just, like, juke them constantly. I feel like they need to make healing do something in this game, like Monster Sanctuary does, where it increases your combo meter. It feels so bad to have a medic of any kind in this, because it feels like it's not doing damage, right? It's not speeding up the fight. I feel like you separate chain from enemies. Chain is just a thing that everybody builds when they attack, and Ravagers are better at doing it. They do like multi-hit attacks, right? You can have enemies that have like the equivalent of the anti-cascade ability from Monster Sanctuary, where they take less damage from fast consecutive attacks like that. To me, it just doesn't feel like Ravager and Commando are, like, in the majority of combats, suitably distinguished from each other, or distinguish each other in a significant way, that it just kind of, like, burns into your brain why would you use one versus the other, right? Like, this guy has really high chain resistance, so it seems like Ravager is bad against it, but also Ravager takes, like, an extra 3 seconds to kill it over Commando. It should do like 0 damage, I think. Alright. We got 5 minutes left. I assume this is gonna go to something important, so. Wait, is it actually saving the game? I don't see the icon. I don't trust that that's saving the game. I'm gonna do this. Take us a bit over time here, but. Hooray!
We're getting close. Let's take it down.
Let's use some of the interesting jobs.
For Alyssa, for Academia.
Maybe, it didn't give me like an error, like, warning, save didn't occur.
Do it.
And thanks.
Okay.
Is it immune to poison? Doesn't look like it. They have one that has Saboteur, but no, not on Synergist, because he's just useless on Synergist, it looks like. Just stands there chilling, you know? It would be nice if a Synergist that had already applied all debuffs just like... I don't know... started like casting shields on people. I do wish healing in this game took the form of Monster Sanctuary shields. I think that would be more elegant and make Medic feel less bad because you could use it proactively.
This must be the heart of the system. I know it's a machine, but it seems like it's almost breathing.
That time it's saved. Okay. Future Marstead, talk to Chocolina, buy some stuff, I guess. You probably need to buy some Phoenix Downs and go up the stairs.